Kotler has represented the sales and product welcome again. The Kotler has represented the sales and product life cycle in this manner. Kindly see this. He has represented through this black line representing the sales, the red line representing the profits, and you are having the 4 stages: introduction, growth, maturity and decline anyway. So, the sales revenue and the profits have to be represented when you are looking at product life cycle. Okay. Then the next thing is, in the market you are having 3 types of scenarios. One is somebody might be using a product for the style. So, if you look at the examples of 70s and early 80s, the film stars used to use a tube type of a pant. Okay. It used to become, what do you call, very tight at when it used to come to his legs. So, many times people used to wonder how they are putting this pant, but it was the style which was there in the marketplace, okay, which was characterized by these film stars. So, many people who used to see these films tried to imitate them, others used to laugh at them how they are putting these pants. So, this is in the second stage is some things become fashion. So, this is what is called the fashion market, which I gave you an example of in the initial stages, the Paris market. So, this Paris market, where one girl whose skirt had got torn and this torn piece was really sweeping the road. Paris market being what it is, the others who saw that, they thought that this is the new fashion. So, there were so many torn pieces of skirt sweeping the road from the next day onwards. So, so many of these fashions are also there. The third is what is called a fad. What is a fad? A fad is the product comes into the marketplace, peaks and immediately goes off. Okay. Maybe the heroine used a particular saree for a particular sequence in that film, and that saree was, what do you call, a very big hit with the audience. Now, so the company or the firm which was manufacturing these sarees found that the sales of these sarees all of a sudden had registered a peak. Now, after the film has gone, along with the film, the saree sales might also go. So, it was a fad during this peak of the film. After the peak of the film, you find this fad is slowly giving way. It is not exactly slow, it is in fact very fast. So, if you look at, if you trace the life sales cycle for all this style, fashion and profit fads, you find that this style is having a longer life. When you come to fashion, you find that the fashion is having a shorter one and the fad is in fact even more shorter. So, this is the one which really, the fad is the one which goes off very fast, and when it goes off very fast you have to be very careful. Style a little longer. Another aspect of the style is, a style might go away from the market during a particular period, but it may re-enter the market also. So, you can see this with reference to women's fashion also. So, take the example of the blouses, the ones which at one period you found that the blouses were short. After some time the blouses became long, that became the style. Now, after some time again these blouses became short. All these types of things are very common. It may make an entry, it may go away, but a style may make a re-entry. So, this is the type of thing which happens in the product life cycle. So, if you look at the product life cycle from the investment strategy point of view, look at it. So, suppose you are looking at sales as percent of potential, whether you should invest or not invest. Suppose you find that this product which is having introduced into the marketplace, it is done with poor scientific understanding. It has got very few good options. Then what should you do? This is all this which we are talking of is how an angel investor looks at. Suppose you are a startup company and you look for funding. So, that angel investor initially invests in he considers for investment your company, that startup company. How does he do that? He may invest initially cautiously, because an angel investor should be prepared to write off his investment. So, there is no guarantee for his investment. Suppose the startup fails, then that investment is gone. It cannot be recovered from the entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur himself is a broke person at that point of time. So, the angel investor, he normally follows that route, that is investing cautiously. Then he does not know what is the progress, whether it will click or not click. Take the example of Uber. The owner of Uber does not own any of the taxis. He is not the taxi owner of all his fleet, so many fleets. Many of these drivers are the owners of the cars which they are driving. They drive you to different destinations, and Uber operates through a dynamic analytic software. It controls all these people through this and has made a wonderful mark in the marketplace. So, in order to take on Uber in the Indian market, you had Ola, and Ola was not having that type of a potential to take on Uber. Now, a lot of financial muscle has got inducted into Ola through the investments of the Tata house, that is Ratan Tata, saying that okay, I will invest in Ola. Now, the result is you have a very stiff competition between Ola and this Uber. So, second stage is where you invest in research programs that result in breakthrough compound. So, something is breaking through. So, this is, you take the example of the Ganga cleaning, the cleaning of the Ganges, not a simple job. How do you clean such a big river like Ganges? Added to that, the pollutants which are put into Ganges, the dirty sewage waters which are getting mixed. So, suppose Ganges is supposed to be the one which cures, according to Hindu belief, it cures or absolves people of all their sins once you take a bath in the river Ganges. Yes, when the Ganges comes from the Himalayas, it is very pure, pristine pure, looks wonderful, but when it comes down to the plains, you find that Ganges is not looking that pure. Many times you wonder, should you take bath in this water of the Ganges? What is likely to happen? So, this is, so the cleaning of the Ganges, the river Ganges is a very big challenge. Suppose some firm is able to do that. So, there are many attempts being made. How they are being made? They want to first try out with small tanks, whether it can be cleaned, some well water, whether it can be cleaned. For suppose some well water was being used only for limited purposes like what do you call washing, things like that. Can it be purified to make it suitable for cooking, and then can it be purified further to make it suitable for drinking some of the well waters. So, these are the things which are coming under breakthrough research. Many of the youngsters are involved in this type of breakthrough research. So, in this stage of development, so when it is ready for takeoff, companies would be investing in these types of breakthrough products. The third is when it grows, it is licensed, early stage compounds, and they push research programs into clinical development. So, you get your what do you call returns coming into the from the marketplace. So, the investors are likely to be happy here. So, when it comes to maturity, you find that the growth is slower, but it is attractive for licensing mid to late stage compounds. When it comes to real mature, you find refinement and reformulations, that is investing carefully and only when clear points of differentiation exist. So, if you want to invest in that firm which is already in a mature market, when would you do that? You find there is differentiation between product A and product B, which can be easily found out by the consumer. Suppose you have to look at a Honda City car, make a comparison of the Honda City car with other cars like Ford or some other brands which are in the marketplace like your Maruti, Ciaz and all. You can differentiate the Honda City car on the sheer performance, and you are likely to come to the conclusion Honda City is the best petrol car that you can think of in the marketplace. So, even though it is a mature market, suppose an investor is willing to do that, he does it only on the points of differentiation, clear points of differentiation. So, this is what the companies look at, that is a PLC for investment strategy. So, whether he is a angel investor or another investing company, he goes through these different stages, makes his decisions for this investment. Now, a little more, what does the PLC really do? If you really see, it does pre-planning, it does the forecast and slope, forecasting the slope and duration of the new product's life. For the manager, it can be helpful for important strategic and tactical moves. After the product's entry into the market, in other words, if you are a keen watcher of the market, you get this wonderful lead time to change your products, change your product items or the product lines, whatever it is. The best example for this is the electronic item. Suppose your product is very complex, that is product complexity. Suppose your product is very new, that is more distinctive in its newness. Greater the number of persons influencing a single buying decision, less influenced by fashion, more costly, the greater the shift in the customer's usual way of doing things. So, you were used to operating a product in a particular manner. Take your slimline telephones, many of them change the buttons, that is the different producers of these slimline phones. Some of these redial buttons you find some of them at the bottom of the phone, in some others you find it at the top of this thing. So, you should, if you are a user of the phone where you are pressing at the bottom for the redial, suppose it is at the top, you find the bottom press of the button can be some other function. These slow things up and create problems. So, you should not keep on what you call troubling the user with so many new adoptions. Okay, I have put my this thing this redial buttons at a different place. Usual convention used to be at the bottom right hand corner. It is not at the bottom right hand corner. Suppose you say it is at the bottom left hand corner also, that can also create problems. Similarly, one brand of car has a different method of putting the reverse gear. When all the other brands are following one convention, this particular brand follows a different one, and accidentally you should not be taken in on this usual convention, because this you may find that you are really going into the reverse mode in this particular brand of car. Sometimes in a very tight traffic situation can be dangerous as well. Suppose your product finds that it gets a favorable first experience in the market, then what is going to happen? You are going to have a disproportionately favorable publicity. So, you are going to click in the marketplace, your sales are going to improve very fast, and you may find that you are on cloud 9 very soon. So, but in the market you should also be very careful, this cloud 9 may become cloud 0 very fast. So, suppose it is a poor first experience, then you suppose you thought that your product is very good, then you start questioning the channels of distribution. How did this fellow distribute the product? Was it available when it was required? All those types of things. Now, when you look at these products and the PLC, a very important factor which comes in is what is called the pricing decisions. How do you price your product? Should it be initial high price, because you may be the first introducer of the product into the marketplace. So, you may say I am the first introducer of the product into the marketplace, I would be interested in charging a higher price. Then you are looking at skimming the cream in the marketplace. Now, you may adopt, though you are the producer of the product introducing it for the first time, you may still adopt a low price, that is where you want to discourage potential competition. You are the developer of the product, still you want to give it at a low price. Then what happens? Suppose somebody wants to compete with you, he will have to think many times before he says whether I can produce a product which at the same price which is being given. What is this called? This is called cost effective strategies in the marketplace. So, this cost effective strategies in the marketplace are some of the things which many firms are now practicing in India also, due to intense competition which is coming in. So, all this depends on the probable length of the product's life cycle, patent protection, the capital needed, demand elasticity, etc. So, if you are looking at these types of pricing decisions which are very crucial for the firm, you have to look at devising strategies, that is the pricing strategies. How do you do that? You have to look at creating more frequent and varied usage among current users, new users for the basic material. I have taken the example of nylon. Nylon is a what do you call a basic nylon is a chemical product, but then what did this basic material? They changed the uses for this. You have a nylon rope, you have a nylon ribbon, all those types of things which came in, and one of these well known companies had a brand ambassador in this famous cricketer Sunil Gavaskar, and this company made a huge mark in the Bombay marketplace. Okay. So, this what did they do? They brought in new uses for the basic material nylon in the marketplace. So, in other words, when you are looking at pricing decisions which are crucial, whether it should be initial high price or low price, it depends on the probable length of the product's life cycle, the patent protection, the capital needed, demand elasticity. So, in order to adopt different strategies for this pricing, you create more frequent and varied usage among current users, new users and new users for the basic material. Example that is taken is that of nylon. Okay. We stop here, we continue in the next class. Thank you.